What's up, GG Squad? The PUBG Mobile 4.0 update has completely changed how the 4X scope works. Before, every gun was stuck with its own fixed reticle, but now you get to switch between 3 styles on any weapon. In this video, I'll explain what each reticle does, how it affects your aim, and which one you should use to dominate fights. Let's dive in. Guys, before the PUBG 4.0 update, whenever we picked up an M416, AKM, SMG, or sniper and used a 4X scope, we couldn't change the reticle according to our preference. For example, the M416 always had the Chevron reticle, the AKM came with the Hashmark reticle, and SMGs or snipers had the classic crosshair, each fixed to the specific gun. But after the 4.0 update, that all changed. Now, no matter which gun you pick up with a 4X scope, you can customize the reticle to your liking, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. In this video, I'm going to cover 5 key things you need to know about the 4X scope reticles. First of all, let's talk about Chevron reticle. The Chevron reticle is a sharp, small arrow in the 4X scope that makes long-range aiming much easier. Its pointed tip acts as a precise marker, helping you line up shots more accurately, especially for headshots or single-tap bursts. This reticle is particularly effective on guns with low recoil, like the M416 or other stable assault rifles, because it allows you to control your fire while keeping your aim locked on the target. By using the Chevron reticle on these low recoil weapons, you can take out enemies at a distance much more reliably, hitting them cleanly with minimal adjustments. Another great feature of the Chevron reticle is that it reduces visual clutter compared to other reticle types. Instead of spreading your focus across multiple lines, your eye naturally locks onto the small, pointed tip, which gives you a clear reference for aiming. This makes it easier to track moving enemies at medium to long ranges and line up controlled bursts or single shots that connect consistently. Additionally, the Chevron reticle is fantastic for strategic positioning. When you're holding high ground or scouting from a distance, the pointed tip allows you to quickly acquire targets without overthinking your aim, giving you confidence in every shot. With the PUBG 4.0 update, you can now pair the Chevron reticle with any gun, meaning even weapons that didn't previously support it can now benefit from this precision tool. Overall, the Chevron reticle is a must-use for players who love sniping, long-range engagements, or just maximizing their accuracy in every fight. Now, the second is Hashmark reticle. The second option is the Hashmark reticle, and this one is designed mainly for mid-range fights. It works best on guns that have high recoil, such as the AKM, M762, and Groza. Compared to other ARs like the M416 or Scar-L, these weapons kick a lot more, which makes controlling them with a simple crosshair or Chevron reticle much harder. But the Hashmark reticle is built in a way that makes aiming with these powerful guns more manageable. What makes this reticle stand out is the circle in the center, along with the small tick marks below the crosshair. The circle acts as a natural focus point, making it easier to lock onto your enemy's head or upper body. This is especially useful when your gun has heavy recoil, because instead of your aim bouncing all over the place, you have a central guide to bring your spray or taps back on target. The tick marks also help estimate bullet drop when you're shooting at enemies that are a little farther away. Now, here's the important part. The Hashmark reticle isn't really built for spraying like the classic crosshair. Instead, it shines in single tap or burst fire. If your enemy is within 200 meters, you can use controlled bursts or taps to land accurate shots without wasting bullets or losing aim due to recoil. That's why players who love guns with raw power but struggle to control their spray often find the Hashmark reticle to be the perfect balance of accuracy and control in mid-range fights. Third and last reticle, classic crosshair reticle. The third and final option is the classic crosshair reticle, the most simple yet one of the most effective designs in PUBG Mobile. This reticle is built mainly for close to mid-range fights, and it truly shines when your enemy is within 150 meters or less. Why? Because the traditional cross design gives you a clean and wide aim point that easily covers the enemy's entire body, making it much easier to land consistent hits and secure quick takedowns in fast-paced situations. However, once you start stretching that distance beyond 150 meters, the limitations of the classic reticle start to show. The crosshair lines tend to block or cover up smaller targets at long range, especially if the enemy is hiding behind a window, peeking from cover, or barely visible in the distance. In short, the classic crosshair is perfect for mid-range sprays and close-quarters fights, where visibility and speed matter more than pinpoint accuracy. But if you're trying to snipe or take long-range shots, this reticle isn't your best bet. To put it simply, it's not made for long-range battles. But if you're a player who thrives in close combat and aggressive pushes, the classic reticle will feel natural and incredibly reliable. Now, we need to know this. Which reticle is the perfect for AR guns, like the M416, AKM, and M762? I'm focusing on ARS here, because most players in PUBG Mobile rely on assault rifles as their primary weapon, so it's important to understand which reticle gives you the best results with them. First tip, M416. Let's start with the M416 plus 4X scope combo. The M416 is one of the most stable rifles in the game, so technically all three reticles, Chevron, Hashmark, and classic crosshair, can work on it. But the real difference comes down to situations. If you're playing long-range fights, then the Chevron reticle is your best option. Its sharp arrow tip makes lining up headshots and burst taps very precise, especially beyond 150 meters. For mid-range fights where you want to burst or even control sprays, the Hashmark reticle feels better because the central circle keeps your aim steady on the enemy's chest or head, even when recoil starts to kick in. Now, what about the classic crosshair? Can you use it on the M416 or other ARS? The answer is yes, but only in close to mid-range fights under 150 meters. The simple cross design makes tracking enemies easier and landing sprays much faster when they're closer. But once the fight stretches beyond 150 meters, the crosshair starts covering too much of the target, making long-range bursts harder to connect. So while you can use it with ARS, it's definitely not the best choice for long-range accuracy. Second tip, AKM and M762. Now let's talk about the AKM and M762 with the 4X scope. These two rifles are some of the strongest ARS in PUBG Mobile because of their high damage per shot, but they also come with one big problem, heavy recoil. And that recoil makes the choice of reticle even more important than it is on the M416. Let's start with the Chevron reticle. Yes, you can use it on AKM and M762, especially for long-range tap fire or short bursts. The sharp arrow design makes it easier to aim at head level and land accurate shots. But here's the issue. Because these guns kick so much, controlling long bursts with Chevron is very hard. So unless you're really good at managing recoil, the Chevron won't give you consistent results on these weapons. It works, but only if you're skilled with recoil control. Now, the Hashmark reticle is where AKM and M762 really shine. This reticle is much better suited for high recoil guns because the circle in the middle gives you a clear focus point on the enemy's head or chest, while the tick marks below help you adjust for bullet drop at 150 to 200 meters. Instead of guessing, you can use the marks to land cleaner shots. With AKM and M762, the Hashmark reticle is perfect for controlled bursts or fast tapping because it keeps your aim stable even when the gun tries to pull away. For these rifles, this is honestly the best reticle choice. Finally, the classic crosshair reticle. Just like with the M416, you can use it, but only in close or mid-range fights under 150 meters. At that distance, the simple cross design makes tracking the enemy's body easier and helps you land quick sprays or bursts. But if you try to use it at long range with AKM or M762, the recoil plus the big crosshair lines will make it very hard to stay accurate. So yes, it works for close/mid-range, but it's not reliable for long-range battles. So guys, I hope you've got a clear idea about all the 4X reticles now. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and leave a comment. And if you want to master sensitivity in close-range fights, just click the video showing up on your screen right now. It's a total game changer. And for more pro tips and tricks, hit that subscribe button and join the GG squad.